What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. Yeah, I'm officially one of those guys that says that now until I come up with a better intro. Okay. So anyway, today's video, I'm going to talk about why I think manifestation is for the privileged. Okay. So it's a story that made me this is something that happened. I'm going to tell you a story. That happened a couple days ago. So I do Vedic astrology readings. It's Indian astrology, okay, and the word for it is called Jyotish. And so, I just started getting into it this year, and I've been doing readings for people, trying to help them understand their charts, understanding what's going on in their life. It's very popular in our culture. We use it for weddings to see if, two people should get together. We do it for business ventures. We do it for just general life advice, health, work, relationships, all kinds of things. So yeah, when I talk to people, I advise. I try to give practical advice. So anyway, in this case, I'm talking to a woman who her job is a counselor, and she helps people in family issues. Okay. So that's what she does on a daily basis, all right? So we get to talking about, what's going on in her life, and then how I can use the chart to help her, advise her, guide her. And it's a good conversation. She shares a lot of information about her life and what's going on, and family, work, and all kinds of stuff. And it's helpful for me so I can look at the chart and see how it relates, and give some good guidance, on what I see. So all that is good, right? Now, at the end of the conversation, we're wrapping up. We're saying thank you. Really appreciated working with you and talking to you and all that good stuff. And then she asked me, she's like, "Hey, by the way, can I ask you, what do you think about the law of attraction and manifesting?" And I was like, I think it's all right. I think it has. I think there is something to it in that, it can get you to feel good. And maybe feeling good gets you to, thinking good, and then feeling good, and then doing good. Maybe I messed up that order, but, getting you to the point of taking some action. So I think, it's good maybe, for that, and just giving you maybe a positive outlook. But I told her that my belief is genuinely that taking action is the most important thing. And it doesn't have to mean I'm not saying you have to grind yourself into the dust and be like a David Goggins guy or something like that. You just, consistently do things towards the goals that you're looking to achieve, the vision that you want to achieve. So I try to push that more, even in my guidance. So anyway, I say this to her, right? And she's like, honestly, I don't agree. I don't agree with you. Actually, I've seen and I've experienced just through manifestation things happening and coming to me. And I was like, oh, okay. She's like, yeah. She's like, actually, the job that I got, I was able to get it through just manifesting. And I was like, okay, well, I'm sure you applied for the job, right? She's like, yeah, I did apply, but it's just an application. And I was like, well, that application shows your work history. There's a lot of work that you've done in the past that could have helped you too. And she's like, yeah, but it was a new kind of job and whatever. And I was like, okay, I understand that, but I was like, let me give you a counterpoint. And I said, there's a lot of people in places like Africa, places like India, Asia, different parts of the world where people are incredibly poor. That people like us in the first world, we don't really even understand it. Their poverty is at such a level where they have nothing. And you can see it on their clothes or their lack of clothes even. And they're begging on the streets and so on and so forth. And people like that, what about them? Do you think that they're just not able to reach a mental, they're not they're not like manifesting. They're not thinking about visualizing the things that they want and seeing everybody with those things around them while them not having it. And this is why I'm telling this story, because her answer was just like, I was like, what? So her answer is like, yeah, well, I think maybe those people, they're not vibrating correctly. They're not manifesting correctly. And okay, by the way, let me tell you, this is happening on the phone, okay? So thank God that it's happening on the phone, because you can't see my face. Because my face was just like, what? I didn't say that. It was like one of those things where you're just like, but verbally I'm just like, oh, okay, all right. That's interesting. Because I was just like, okay, at this point when I heard that, I'm like, okay, where her and I are mentally, it's just two different places. Not that one is better than the other, just we're different places. But I was like, okay, that's interesting. Maybe I don't know enough about it. Whatever. Okay. And then whatever, I just wrapped up the conversation. Again, yeah, appreciate it. So maybe I'll look into it and, nice talking to you, all that stuff. Okay. So anyway, that's the story. And it just made me like, I was just like, what in the world? And this is where I'm going to break down my point of, I feel like manifestation is for the privileged. Like and by the way, I did mention this to her, that like, okay, I see okay, maybe it's interesting, maybe I don't know, but I did say that like, for someone in that circumstance to like be able to get to a point where they're vibrating correctly, like they need to be taken out of that circumstance. Like their poverty is at such a level where they're probably constantly in fight or flight. And you don't know where your next meal is coming from. You don't know if you're going to make it. So how are you able to get to those vibrations or frequencies or, whatever it is? Like they would need to be pulled into a place where they're at least neutral. And that's where like we gotta have some like spiritual like decency, man. What? Like have some spiritual decency, lady. Those people, like, they need just their basics, their fundamentals met in life, to where they can think about higher things, like the way we do in the first world. Like I'm staying with my parents right now, right? Because I don't have a job and like things are tough, but I at least have that, so that I don't have to worry about food and different like and a roof over my head while it's like raining outside. You can see on the windows. So I have a car, and I have some of these basic things met. So I can get myself to a point where I'm like, okay, let me think about this. Let me visualize. Let me consistently do it over and over. But not everybody has that. And it's like I feel like it's a privilege to be able to go to like retreats, like whatever. She was telling me about like Joe Dispenza retreat or things she went to. Like, this is a massive, massive privilege that we have. Well, I didn't say that to her. But, yeah, it's not accessible to everyone. I don't believe so. Like, not consistently. It's very, very hard for people in those situations. And that's why I believe, like, and this is not a popular view, because you look online, like, there's millions of views for like manifestation videos. But, I'm trying to balance the two worlds of law of attraction, manifestation with self-improvement. And it's like, yeah, you should do one, but definitely do the other. And even in Vedic philosophy, like, a lot of times people think astrology is like about determinism. I don't even want to I'll do that in a separate video, what I really think Vedic philosophy is about. But it has to do with karma. It has to do with your actions, right? So anyway, this is my video. I just wanted to say that, yeah, I think it's a privilege to be able to manifest. Not to say that it hasn't done maybe miraculous things for people, right? Not to say that it hasn't, but at the same time, I feel we should respect those that have much more difficult and unbelievable circumstances than we do, and recognize it's not easy for them, you know. And if someone from there like was able to do it, like, wow, man, that's an exceptional story. Anyways, that's enough, guys. Have a good night.